In the remote high desert of Utah, near a place known as Skinwalker Ranch, a man named James took a hike through the hills. James describes himself as a curious man. He'd heard the legends of Skinwalker Ranch and the mystical creatures that supposedly roamed there. But he was skeptical, a man who believed only in what he could see or touch. That was until he found himself face to face with the inexplicable. It began like any other day, with the air biting at his face and the soft rustle of the desert wind. James was following his usual trail, one that skirted the infamous ranch, where countless stories of strange occurrences and sightings of otherworldly beings had originated. As he approached a ridge overlooking a dark valley, he suddenly felt a chill, unlike any he had ever experienced. The day had fallen silent, the wind ceased, and the very air seemed to thicken. Then he heard it, a faint whisper, like a raspy voice carried on the wind. He looked down into the valley and saw a shadowy figure moving on all fours, its eyes glowing with a sickly yellow light. James's heart pounded in his chest, but he couldn't look away. He watched as the creature stopped and raised its head, sniffing the air. Its body was lean and twisted, covered with what looked like mottled, rotting skin. Its face was a horrifying amalgamation of human and animal features. Suddenly it stood on its hind legs, its eyes fixed on James. He felt a cold terror grip him as those eyes bore into him, seeming to look right into his soul. It was as if the creature knew him, knew his thoughts, his doubts, his fears. Unable to move, unable to even breathe, James could only watch as the creature began to change. Its body twisted and contorted, its skin stretching and reshaping. The creature was now making its way towards him, its lips curling into a malicious grin. It spoke in a voice that was a distorted echo of James's own. With that, the creature turned and vanished into the darkness, leaving James frozen on the ridge, his mind reeling from what he had just witnessed. He stumbled back to his car and drove home in a daze. The image of that creature, that skinwalker, burned into his mind. He knew now that the legends were true, that there was a world beyond what he could see or touch, a world filled with mysteries and horrors beyond comprehension. Days turned into weeks, and James found himself drawn back to that ridge, night after night, as if the skinwalker had left a part of itself in him. He would stand there, looking into the valley, half hoping, half fearing to see it again, but the creature never returned, and slowly, the terror of that encounter began to fade, becoming a haunting memory. James was left with more questions than answers, a changed man who had peered into the unknown and had been forever marked by it. In the vast expanse of the Uinta Basin in northeastern Utah, there lies a place shrouded in enigma and wonder, Skinwalker Ranch. Also known as Sherman Ranch, this 480-acre property has earned a reputation as one of the most paranormal hotspots in the world, captivating the imaginations of enthusiasts, researchers, and skeptics alike. Its eerie tales of strange phenomena have made it a subject of intense curiosity and debate, attracting countless investigations and becoming a focal point for those seeking to understand the mysteries of the unknown. The legend of Skinwalker Ranch dates back centuries to the native Ute tribe, who considered the land to be cursed. According to tribal lore, the area was inhabited by malevolent shapeshifters, known as skinwalkers, capable of transforming into animals and inflicting harm on humans. With such a sinister backdrop, it's no wonder that the ranch has become a magnet for all things paranormal. The modern era of intrigue surrounding Skinwalker Ranch began in the 1990s when it was purchased by a Las Vegas businessman named Robert Bigelow, founder of the National Institute for Discovery Science. Under Bigelow's ownership, the ranch became a focal point for extensive scientific research and investigations into a wide range of unexplained phenomena. Witnesses have reported a plethora of inexplicable events at the ranch, from mysterious unidentified aircraft sightings and encounters with otherworldly beings, to poltergeist-like activity, crop circles, and unexplained animal explorations. Among the most common sightings are strange lights in the sky, moving erratically and defying conventional explanations. Some have described seeing disc-shaped objects hovering in the distance, while others claim to have witnessed craft vanishing into thin air or submerging into the ground. These accounts have fueled speculation about mysterious visitations. One of the most compelling aspects of Skinwalker Ranch is the high number of witnesses who are credible and experienced, such as law enforcement officers, military personnel, and scientists. Their testimonies lend weight to the idea that something genuinely unusual may be occurring on the property. However, skeptics argue that many of these accounts can be attributed to natural phenomena, misidentifications, or exaggerations. The phenomenon at Skinwalker Ranch also extends beyond the skies, with numerous reports of eerie and unexplained occurrences on the ground. Witnesses have claimed to see shadowy figures lurking in the darkness, hearing disembodied voices, and experiencing feelings of being watched or followed. Some have described encounters with strange, wolf-like creatures, reinforcing the legends of the malevolent skinwalkers. Various scientific investigations have been conducted at the ranch to try and unravel its mysteries. The National Institute for Discovery Science, under Bigelow's direction, spent years collecting data, setting up surveillance equipment, and conducting studies to document and understand the strange occurrences. Critics argue that the lack of publicly available scientific data and the selective release of information have cast doubts on the legitimacy of the research conducted at Skinwalker Ranch. In 2016, the ownership of the ranch changed hands again, with real estate mogul Brandon Fugal acquiring the property. However, Fugal took a more secretive approach, limiting access to the site and keeping a tight lid on ongoing investigations. Brandon Fugal is not just the owner, but also the executive producer of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. This move has only intensified the aura of mystery surrounding the ranch. Deep within the heart of Navajo folklore lies a chilling tale that continues to send shivers down the spines of those who hear it: the legend of the Skinwalker. In the Native American tradition, the Skinwalker is a malevolent witch capable of shape-shifting into animals and harnessing dark powers to inflict harm on others. This haunting legend has endured for generations, serving as a cautionary tale and a source of fear and fascination. According to Navajo beliefs, the Skinwalker is a powerful practitioner of the witchery way, an ancient and forbidden form of magic. It is said that these individuals, usually witches or shamans who have chosen the path of darkness, can transform into any animal of their choosing. From wolves to owls, bears to coyotes, the Skinwalker can assume the form of the animal they desire, granting them supernatural abilities and enabling them to wreak havoc upon their victims. The methods used by a Skinwalker to achieve their shape-shifting abilities are deeply disturbing. Legend has it that they may don the pelts of the animals they wish to become, a process that requires a sinister ritual and unspeakable acts. By wearing the skin of the animal, they are believed to gain not only its physical form, but also its traits and attributes. This transformation allows them to move with stealth and strike fear into the hearts of those who dare cross their path. The powers of a Skinwalker extend beyond shape-shifting. They are believed to possess a range of dark abilities. Some tales describe them as being able to control the minds of their victims, causing them to fall ill or suffer from unexplainable ailments. Others speak of their ability to curse people, livestock or crops, bringing misfortune and despair to those who incur their wrath. The origins of the Skinwalker legend are rooted in a mix of cultural beliefs and historical events. The concept of shape-shifting is prevalent in numerous indigenous cultures around the world, often linked to spiritual practices and a deep connection to nature. For the Navajo, the concept of witchcraft and witches has been a part of their traditions for centuries, and stories of malevolent practitioners have been passed down through generations. The fear of encountering a Skinwalker has been deeply ingrained in Navajo culture, leading to various precautions and rituals to protect against their malevolence. Navajo people avoid discussing Skinwalkers at night, believing that speaking their name can attract their attention. Additionally, some believe that the power of the Skinwalker lies in their eyes, and meeting their gaze can be a dangerous and even deadly encounter. It is important to note that the Skinwalker legend is deeply respected within the Navajo community, and many individuals are reluctant to speak openly about it with outsiders. The legend is treated with reverence, and sharing stories about Skinwalkers is often considered taboo, reinforcing the belief in their potency and power. In recent years, The legend of the Skinwalker has transcended traditional storytelling and found its way into contemporary culture. The allure of the supernatural and the mysterious has led to various books, movies, and documentaries exploring the myth and its origins. However, it is crucial to approach the subject with sensitivity and respect, recognizing its cultural significance and understanding that the legend holds deep meaning for the Navajo people.
All across the world, there are reports of impossible-to-explain flying disc-shaped aircraft that demonstrate capabilities that violate all known laws of physics and appear to be technologically far too advanced to be explained in the modern day. In fact, there are more than 8,000 annual cases of sightings of such craft every single year, with thousands more going unreported for fear of ridicule. These sightings, however, are not the most extraordinary stories surrounding these impossible-to-explain craft, but rather the peculiar forms of life that seem to inhabit them. Often described as humanoid, the pilots of these craft vary from all shapes, sizes, species, and behaviors, from small 3-foot-tall little grey men to 10-foot-tall Sasquatch-like creatures to lanky 7-foot-tall insect-like creatures that look eerily similar to the praying mantis. Although UFO and alien enthusiasts have often been quick to proclaim that such sightings and encounters are evidence of extraterrestrial life visiting from faraway planets and solar systems, there appears to be a profound amount of evidence that has been growing over the past several decades, gathered by independent research efforts on a ranch out in the middle of nowhere, that has started to chip away at these claims and posited a far more terrifying theory. Perhaps these sightings, these craft, and these extraterrestrial sightings are not extraterrestrial at all, but a matter of the interdimensional. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be going over the mystery and evidence gathered at the Skinwalker Ranch and the possible interdimensional technology behind it that has led to mass visitation of our little blue planet. Thank you for watching. Utah Basin is no stranger to the supernatural, paranormal, or extraterrestrial. In fact, the area is so familiar with the unexplainable that it led to a joint investigation between the privately owned company Bigelow Aerospace and the United States government's military, the Department of Defense. Over a period of about 20 years, a joint investigation was made to uncover the cause of the paranormal, supernatural, and extraterrestrial sightings made across the Utah Basin and determine whether or not the cause was a threat to national security. This led to the purchasing of a piece of land that would later be referred to as the Skinwalker Ranch, due to the region's massive amount of sightings of a terrifyingly humanoid monster known as the Skinwalker. In his book titled The Hunt for Skinwalker Ranch, co-author George Knapp discusses how the ranch, previously owned by a family known as the Gorman family, appeared to be a focal point of the unexplainable activity, featuring anything from sightings of little grey aliens, Bigfoot, skinwalkers, direwolves, unidentified flying objects, and poltergeist activity. Interestingly enough, over the 20 years of investigation, a surprising amount of evidence came forward that would help to explain the previously believed paranormal causes into something far more evident of advanced technologies. As is common with alien abduction stories, many abductees will often claim that evidence of an abduction having taken place is experiencing a dramatic sudden loss of time. A number of witnesses residing within the Utah Basin have claimed to have suddenly been walking through their house at night only to find themselves staring at the clock and noticing huge chunks of time missing from their memory, with others claiming that while they had been driving, they found themselves parked at the side of the road, realizing that they must have been asleep for several hours. What kind of advanced technology, if any, could cause such sudden lapses in time and awareness? During the NIDS's investigation, researchers gathered the witness testimony of the Gorman family, the family that used to reside at the Skinwalker Ranch, and the troubles they faced with the ongoing paranormal and supernatural activity they witnessed. In one such story, the Gormans talked about how their missing cattle had been a devastating blow to their finances and how their last ability to make a profit rested with 4 2,000-pound bulls in an iron-gated pen resting a few hundred yards from their home. Almost as if listening in on the conversation, when the couple reached the bull pens, they noticed that all 4 bulls were missing from their locked pens with no evidence of destruction. After contacting the researchers, the bulls were found crammed into a locked and closed trailer with no way of entering or exiting, with all 4 of the bulls standing side by side in a perfectly docile mood, seemingly stuck in a hypnotic trance. When the researchers entered the trailer in an attempt to coax the bulls back into the bullpen, almost as if a sudden switch had been flipped, the bulls snapped out of their hypnotic trance and began kicking and breaking the trailer apart in a terrible fit of rage. The researchers were not only unable to explain how the bulls entered inside the trailer, they were unable to explain the strange display of sudden behavior shifts in the bulls that allowed them to have been moved into the trailer in a docile state before the arrival of the team. Despite this lack of explanation from the researchers, however, Unexplained Mysteries proposes a theory as to the cause of the bulls' sudden behavioral shift. Back in 1964, the neurological researcher Jose Manuel Rodriguez Delgado, later referred to as the pioneer of electrical brain stimulation, conducted a dramatically demonstrated research test that could prove the viability and theory that electrical brain stimulation, when applied in controlled manners, could not only manipulate an organism's muscle movements and contractions, but could more than influence the creature's entire behavior as well. Known as the Stymor-Seaver, Delgado invented a small device that could be implanted into the brain of an animal and used to give remote-controlled electrical stimulation to specific parts of the brain for controlled behavior. After conducting brain surgery to impact his electrode into the skull of a Spanish bull, Lucero of Cordoba, Spain, Delgado got into the bullfighting ring with the creature surrounded by a crowd of onlookers and waited for the bull to charge him. When it did, Delgado activated his remote-controlled electrode only a few meters from being hit by the bull, which instantly caused the raging bull to come to an immediate halt. Almost in an exact instant, the bull seemed to lose all of its aggression and violence and laid down in a calm and relaxed demeanor. Just like the docile behavior of the caged bulls on the Skinwalker Ranch, Delgado's bull seemed to become completely oblivious to the presence of Delgado and went into a hypnotic, dull state. Could electrical brain stimulation have been the cause for the Skinwalker Ranch bulls suddenly becoming docile and being led into a tight and compacted trailer? Oddly enough, the NIDS's research group found that the iron gate that fenced the bulls in were suddenly completely magnetized around the area. The magnetization of iron was most likely caused from a powerful electromagnetic field in the region of unknown origin. This heavily implies, however, that only moments before the bull's strange personality shift, there was a powerful electromagnetic field that suddenly arose and caused the bulls to undergo a specified and controlled behavior. Rather than the paranormal ability of a poltergeist, a conscious intelligence with advanced technologies capable of creating strong electromagnetic fields could have used such technology to apply specific electrical brain stimulation and lead to the docile hypnosis and control of the Skinwalker bulls, just like Delgado's experiments demonstrated more than 60 years ago. Could it be that when individuals experience a sudden loss of time and undergo hypnotic trances shortly before and after an alien abduction event, they could be the victim of an impossible-to-explain electrical brain stimulation caused via a powerful but direct electromagnetic weapon used by otherworldly beings? Interestingly enough, another recorded story from the Skinwalker Ranch researchers could prove to be a profound piece of supporting evidence for this claim. One of the strangest pieces of supernatural encounters from the Gorman family was that of the instantaneous cattle mutilation that took place no more than about 20 feet away from them as they fed their livestock. According to the Gorman family, their cattle had been in a small field together with a baby calf resting beside its mother as the cows were being fed. Suddenly, the family claimed that the mother cow began bellowing sadly as it ran in circles with a partial limp that seemed to be a form of temporary paralysis. When the family walked to the cow to see what was wrong, they noticed that the calf had been cut open and picked completely clean, With a precision that was more akin to surgical tools, in a few seconds it took them to walk from the calf down the field 20 feet and then back again. When the researchers investigated the mutilation, they found that the hide of the calf was too thick to have been cut by a knife and would have required surgical tools and a large amount of time to have performed the procedure, leaving behind nothing but an untouched head and a skeleton picked completely clean. Although the family claims that next to no time had passed, could the entire area have been under the influence of an electromagnetic field that caused a docile hypnosis and temporary amnesia that led the inhabitants into believing no time had passed while an unknown entity conducted a mutilation experiment in the field unseen? The partial paralysis of the calf's mother seems to support that theory overwhelmingly. There are few known scientific causes of temporary paralysis in individuals, but one of the most well-known causes is that of partial damage to an animal's nervous system or misfiring signals from the brain to the nervous system. Similar to how REM sleep will temporarily cause the body to undergo paralysis to prevent an individual from kicking out in their sleep, could the electromagnetic fields caused by some unknown entity have caused an adverse effect on the mother cow's nervous system that caused it to temporarily enter into a partial limb paralysis when exposed to its radiating field? Countless accounts of extraterrestrial encounters in the past have often remarked that close encounters with alien craft have often led to neurological problems. Could this be evidence of a form of neurological control or influence? Often referred to as poltergeist interference, there seems to be a tremendous amount of evidence of time loss, hypnotically induced trance states, sudden amnesia, and controlled electromagnetic fields capable of manipulating an organism's behavior instantaneously. Rather than a paranormal or supernatural cause, the evidence points to a clear use of advanced technologies that can not only control their victims, but can allow the unknown entities to remain unseen while conducting real-time experiments in front of their victims without them knowing it. But what do you all think of these yet-to-be-explained stories surrounding the witness accounts of the encounters on the Skinwalker Ranch and the theory of electromagnetic psychological interference? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. And once again, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.